Lesbian Detectives. Unsolved cases. She's still missing. Yeah, they haven't found her yet. Well, let's talk about it.
They say he vanished without a trace. Could it be a psychotic break or a tragic accident? Police don't know where the body went. Unsolved murders, body still missing. That's unheard. Where's the witness? Lesbian detectives, what's going on? City on high alert, this out the norm. He did what, the who? Man, that ain't real, these crimes ain't true. Then come uncover these theories with us. We live right now, tuning in is a must.
Right now, Lesbian Detectives. Lesbian Detectives. We about to start the show, so get your popcorn ready, let's go.
Pay attention to the message. I present to you Lesbian Detectives.
This is Lesbian Detectives. I'm Sierra.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And we are here talking about missing and unsolved murders.
We are discussing cases that you have forgotten about or never even heard of.
So sit back, relax, and let's start this podcast. Welcome back, everybody. And this is a new episode on a new week. Before we start, I would like to make a little announcement.
We encourage everybody to be polite to the victims. I understand we all have our opinions, but we want to respect the victims and their loved ones. So please just be courteous, be nice, and if you have nothing nice to say, I would say don't say it at all.
Well said. And I second that because we have to be nice in this world. Our Valentine weekend was amazing. Our massage was A1. Mm-hmm. She really got into my bones, my muscles, all that stuff. And doing it kind of hurt a little bit, but it felt kind of good.
Yeah.
But then the next day I was sore.
Yeah, it was definitely worth it. I feel less stressed, less tense. I actually want to do it at least once every 3 months moving forward because it's such a great experience, in my opinion.
I love the hot stones. My lady kind of worked me into it. She put on her hand and she rubbed my body. And then that's when she put the hot stone on me. My wife lady, she just threw them on her. My wife was like, ow. She screamed when the massage. I'm like, girl, you ruined the vibe, wife. Be quiet.
Yeah. And then I've been a little stuffy. I don't know if you guys can hear it, but I guess I was breathing a little heavy and they were like, oh, you were snoring. I was like, wasn't snoring.
I thought she was asleep, guys. I really did. Because she like all you hear is snoring, sounds. And I'm like, oh, she knocked out. But no, she was wide awake, but it was just because she was stopped up. And then she left something at the massage place. So we had dinner and she stood up like, oh my God, your outfit would go good with a chain. And I gave her a chain years ago. She's like, oh my God, I took my chain out. So we're going to go back to the place to get her chain. Mm-hmm. And guys, I was going to wear my Wearable blanket for you guys. I got a Wearable blanket. I'm going to wear it for next episode. It's so comfortable. I love it. My wife was like, no.
It's like a moo-moo. We're there already.
I don't even wear moo-moos like that. So
exactly.
Yeah.
But that blanket's a moo-moo.
I do want a moo-moo. So it's coming soon.
Oh no.
We there already, guys. We've been there for 8 years. It's time. That's enough talking about our weekends and our Wearable blanket. Let's get into the episode. It was a cold February afternoon. The kind of day when the wind cuts through the roads and the city feels quieter than usual, as if holding its breath. Most people were going about their routines, unaware that somewhere in a forgotten corner of a noisy neighborhood, a life had been stolen in a way that will shock everyone who will eventually learn the story. The discovery was accidental. A couple of men scouring through an abandoned lot searching for scraps, never expecting to find what they did. Amidst overgrown weeds, broken glass, and rusted debris, something caught their eye. A figure lying face down on the ground. At first, they couldn't process it, and then the horrifying truth became clear. It wasn't no ordinary death. It was brutal. It was personal, and it was only the beginning of a story that will remain unsolved for decades. Tonight, we peel back the layers of a life interrupted, a neighborhood haunted, and a mystery that refused to fade. This is a story of love, loss, and questions that may never be answered. This is the case of Vanessa Renee Brown. Vanessa Renee Brown, known to those closest to her as Renee, a 23-year-old mother, daughter, friend, and woman with dreams, struggle, and complicated life. By her early 20s, Vanessa had already lived more than most people twice her age. She was a devoted mother to her 5-year-old son, Dante, whose laughter and curiosity light up her world. Trying to find joy, freedom, in her own identity in a world that often judged her for her choices. She had left high school early and never married, but she carved out her own path through the city, embracing music, dancing, laughter, and the friends who brought warmth and color to her life. Her parents, Lucretia and Raymond Brown, worried constantly about her choices. Arguments were often and sometimes sharp over money, late nights, and her friendships, but beneath the friction, there was love. Vanessa adored her son, and even when tensions ran high, she made sure he felt cared for, cherished, and safe. Friends remember her as vibrant, magnetic, and playful. She had a laugh that drew people in, and a nickname for everyone she knew, her favorite being Meatball. But Vanessa also carried a deep complexity. She was fiercely protective of her independence, uneasy under watchful eyes, and careful about where she went and whom she trusted. In many ways, Vanessa's life was a balancing act: love and struggle, freedom and responsibility, laughter and danger. And yet, for all her energy and care, her story would take a tragic turn, one that will leave her family, friends, in the city of Pennsylvania searching for answers for decades. As January 1984 came to a close, Vanessa Renee Brown life carried on with its usual rhythm, laughter, party, and friends, fleeing moments of freedom, but also with tension, worry, and the weight of responsibility she carried as a mother. On January 26, Vanessa had one of those many arguments that had come to define her life in the Brown household. Her mother had voiced her frustration once again over Vanessa's late night, her struggle with drugs, the way she leaned on her family. For Vanessa, it was another reminder that she was constantly being judged, another clash between her desires for independence and the expectation pressing down on her. But Vanessa had ways of navigating this world, ways that allow her a small sense of control. She would often leave home at night and arrange to be dropped off a few blocks away, avoiding confrontation with her parents and keeping her social life separate from the watchful eyes of her family. 62nd Street and Woodbine Avenue, a forgotten patch of weeds and rumble. It was unremarkable to most, but to Vanessa it was a quiet heaven, a temporary pause between her life at home and her life on the roads. The following evening, January 22nd, she attended a friend's birthday party. Those who were there remember her as vibrant and lively. She danced, laughed, joked, calling friends Meatball, her favorite nickname. She told someone she intended to meet someone later that night, though she never revealed who it would be. After leaving the party, she disappeared in the city roads, her path becoming harder and harder to trace. Vanessa's days were punctuated by a small routine that made sense only to her. She often moved between friends' home and her sister's house, never staying in one place too long. She collected her government check on February 2nd, but investigators later could not confirm if she had cashed it herself. Beyond that day, her movements were unknown. Amid the backdrop of ordinary life and small escape, a shadow loomed. Vanessa had been scheduled to testify against William Kemp, a 30-year-old cab driver accused of raping her in May of 1983. Though William had been arrested and released on bond, the trial was approaching, and Vanessa's testimony was crucial. Each night, as she navigated Pennsylvania roads, she moved with caution, aware of the risk and unaware of the tragedy that awaits her. February 14, 1984, Valentine's Day. A day meant for love, for connection, for celebration, but the residents of Pennsylvania Overbrook neighborhood, this day will become one of shock, horror, and grief. On that afternoon, two men were scavenging for scraps metal, turning over old barrels and bits of rust metal in a lot that long been forgotten. Once a parking lot for city bus, the lot of 62nd Street and Woodbine Avenue now lay abandoned, overgrown weeds littered with broken glass and debris. As one of the men moved towards a thicket at the far end of the lot, his gaze fell on something he couldn't immediately process. A small mound of dirt, partially hidden among the weeds, seemed oddly shaped, and then he realized what it was. It was a body, naked, face down, lay among the rubbles. Within minutes, officers arrived and stepped carefully among the littered lot, their eyes locking on the scene that will haunt Philadelphia for decades. Vanessa Brown's body was mutilated. Carved into her back were the words, "Good rape." Chunks of her shoulder were missing. Her throat had been cut. She had been stabbed. She had been strangled. Yet authorities would later determine she had not been sexually assaulted. It was clear she had not been killed there. There was almost no blood at the scene, indicated that Vanessa had been likely murdered somewhere else, transported to this lot, discarded like debris that surrounded her. Medical examiner estimated she had been dead for less than 48 hours. The brutality of the crime was shocking, and the message carved into her back suggested a level of rage and deeply personal. Vanessa's parents were notified immediately. They were shattered in an instant. Her 5-year-old son, Dante, lost his mother, though he could not yet understand the gravity of the moment. Friends were devastated. The news spread quickly, and the city was only beginning to understand the full extent of the tragedy. Detectives arrived at the scene, combing through the lots, taking notes, photographing the area, and speaking with the two men who made the Gramps discovery. They began to piece together what little they could. Vanessa's last known moments, the people she had been seen with, and the potential threats of her life. It was a crime that would confine investigators for decades, a life taken with brutality, a message carved into flesh, and no clear path to the killer. The world Vanessa had navigated so carefully, the roads, the parties, the friendship, the protected routines had failed her in the most unimaginable way, and yet this was only the beginning of a story that will reveal far more than just the act of a murder.
Vanessa's parents, Lucretia and Raymond Brown, were devastated. They spoke of the last time they saw her on January the 26th, a typical argument over her late nights, her substance use, and the ways in which she clashed with the family's expectations. For them, the reality of her death was unbearable. Their daughter, vibrant and full of life just weeks before, now lay cold and lifeless, a victim of unspeakable violence. Investigators began to speak with everyone who knew Vanessa. Her friends painted a picture of a woman full of energy and warmth. Despite her struggles, she was fiercely loving towards her son, Dante, and deeply loyal to those she trusted. They described the night of January the 27th when she attended a friend's birthday party, dancing, joking, calling friends, Meatball, the playful nickname she used for almost everyone she cared about. She mentioned she intended to meet someone later that evening, though no one knew who. After that, she vanished. Police explored the possibility that Vanessa had been killed by someone she knew. The lot where her body was discovered had been a place she frequently visited, a drop-off point to avoid confrontations with her parents and to maintain privacy from men she was dating. Whoever killed her may have known these routines, allowing them to strike with terrifying precision. A potential motive emerged when investigators learned Vanessa was scheduled to testify against William Kemp, the cab driver accused of raping her in May 1983. He had been arrested but released on bond, awaiting trial. After questioning the thorough investigation, police found no evidence linking Kemp to Vanessa's murder. He was ruled out as a suspect. The investigation looked at Vanessa's last known activities. She had cashed her government stipend check on February the 2nd, although it was unclear whether she had done it herself. From that point until her body was discovered, her movements were unknown. Friends and family recalled seeing her at various homes, drifting between places to maintain some independence. She was careful, guarded, and aware of her surroundings. Yet, despite these precautions, she had fallen victim to a killer who struck in the shadows. Detectives scoured leads, interviewed family, friends, and acquaintances, and retraced Vanessa's steps, but the case quickly grew frustratingly cold. No murder weapon was recovered. No credible suspect emerged. The brutality of her death, the message carved into her skin, and the lack of evidence made it clear this was a crime that would haunt Philadelphia and remain unsolved for decades. The city mourned, her friends and family grappled with grief, and questions lingered. Who could commit such an act? Why Vanessa, and why had justice eluded her for so long? As the investigation into Vanessa Renee Brown's murder stalled, a darker story was unfolding behind the walls of Philadelphia's homicide unit. By the 1980s, a culture of corruption had taken root, one that would later shake the city to its core. Decades after Vanessa's death, it became clear that wrong convictions, coerced testimony, and abuse of power were not isolated incidents. They were part of a pattern. Detective Ernest Gilbert and Larry Gerard, prominent figures in the unit, were later revealed to have arranged sexual favors and illegal deals with jailhouse informants in exchange for false testimony. These actions led to at least 20 wrongful convictions, men who spent decades in prison for crimes they did not commit. Among those freed after decades behind bars were Russell Williams, Andre Harvey, Willie Stokes, and William Franklin, all victims of what would later be called a quote-unquote sex for lies scheme. Their exonerations exposed a deeply flawed system. Informants were enticed with drugs, guns, and other favors, threatened with fabricated charges, and coerced into lying in court. Evidence was withheld, cases were manipulated, justice was skewed. For Vanessa's family, the revelation raised unsettling questions. If the homicide unit had been capable of manipulating evidence, intimidating witnesses, and pursuing convictions through dishonest means, could it be that her case had been affected by the same shadowed practices? Could the killer have slipped through because the system itself was compromised? The corruption wasn't abstract. It had real victims. Men had lost decades of their lives, families had been shattered, and communities had been left in fear and doubt. The detectives at the center of the misconduct weren't just bending the rules. They were shaping the narrative of crime in the city, deciding who would be punished, who would be protected, and who would be left in the dark. Vanessa's murder, brutal and senseless, occurred in a time when justice could be so easily obscured. With evidence scarce, witnesses transient, and a department mired in corruption, the trail of her killer was cold before they truly began. Her story exists not only as a tragic account of a young life taken too soon, but as a stark reminder of the fragility of justice. And so, Vanessa Renee Brown's case remained unsolved, a haunting mystery that endures to this day, her life stolen, her story incomplete, and her family left to wonder who would commit such violence and why. Before we close this chapter, it's important to remember that Vanessa Renee Brown was more than headlines, more than the tragedy that ended her life. She was a mother, a daughter, a friend, A woman with dreams, struggles, and a complicated life. She adored her 5-year-old son, Dante, whose laughter brought her light, even in the darkest days. She carried joy and love into the lives of those around her, while also navigating the challenges that came with independence, relationships, and survival in a city that could be unforgiving. Her story is a haunting reminder of both human resilience and human cruelty. The streets she walked, the friends she trusted, the routines she relied upon. None could protect her from the violence that ended her life. And yet, even in the face of unspeakable horror, Vanessa's spirit endures in the memories of those who loved her and the questions her murder still raises. Decades later, we were left with the chilling unknown: who took Vanessa's life and why? Her murder remains unsolved, her killer unidentified. But in remembering her and her story, we honor her life, her struggles, and her love. Even now, every detail, every memory, and every tip could bring justice closer. Vanessa Renee Brown deserves to be remembered, not only for the tragedy, but for the life she lived and the love she gave. This is the case of Vanessa Renee Brown. Now let's get into some theories.
Theories.
Let's get into some theories. Let's get into some theories. Everyone is a suspect until proven guilty. Let's get into some theories. Lesbian detectives. What type of thoughts you thinking? What theories running through your mind? I'm thinking all types of suspicion. Uncover the truth, what we can find. Witness say they saw somebody creeping out the back door. What you think they did it for? That's so crazy, I'm not sure. They found a car, where could she be? Here go another puzzle piece. Researching through your history. It's plenty unsolved mysteries. Everyone is a suspect until proven guilty. Let's get into some theories, yeah. Let's get into some theories. Let's get into some theories. Everyone is a suspect until proven guilty. Let's get into some theories. Lesbian detectives.
You or me?
Go ahead.
This one, it just, like, I always say, like, the police could have done more or the police didn't care. These police didn't care at all. Like, they was out here, like, doing illegal stuff, sending innocent men to jail, taking bribes, all of the like, all above. So it's like, what if it was the cab driver? Like, they said that she wasn't sexually assaulted, so that's weird to me. If in her back was carved "good rape," and you tell me she wasn't sexually assaulted, but the person who did rape her was going to jail for raping her, and he was released on bond, we really didn't look into this man.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's crazy. The lot that she was found is like her known lot. Like, she always tell people to drop her off there so she can walk home. So it's like, it had to be somebody that know her or was watching her. What if this cab driver was watching her and you're like, okay, she keep going to this lot? Because the police said she wasn't killed there. She was like moved there. But like, I really don't believe what the police say, because shoot, y'all was over here doing illegal stuff. It's like a lot of stuff that happened in her case was because of the police to me. Like, you tell me 20 people went to jail because of what you guys was doing. You was getting paid off. You was getting sexed also, like, out of these people. I don't know. Like, I always talk about, like, how cops hide information or not telling the truth. But with this case, you actually see it. Like, it's known facts that these cops were doing illegal stuff and didn't really care. That's just sad that, like, she was young. She was just, like, having a experience of a young person. Like, I understand that she was a mom, pregnant young, and had a baby young. They still have that mindset of a young person. Like, I still want to live my life, but I need to be a mother. But they don't know how to balance it yet because they're still young. I'm having it. Like, I'm having a different experience. Like, I'm a mom, but, like, I put my motherhood first instead of, like, living my life. But now I'm like, my daughter's old enough, I can, like, go on vacations and leave her with my mom, or I can, like, have a date night, or I can do this. It's different balance for different moms. Her balance was different from mine. So, like, I can understand that. Like, she was 23. Her son was 5. So you do that math, she was basically a teenager when she had her son. So she is growing up with her son, but she's like, I still want to party. I still want to hang out. So it's like, it's hard. But I think it's a cab driver. You telling me that this girl said that you rape her, and on her back it says good rape, and she wasn't sexually assaulted, and the police said like this attack was brutal. She was stabbed. A chunk of her shoulder was missing, and then she was strangled. You made, like, to be honest, you made sure she died because you did a lot. But I don't know. The police said that she wasn't sexually assaulted, but I don't know. Because why would you carve that in her back? Or it could have been one of her friends or like somebody she known, because it was in a lot that she knew. I don't know. I'm between a friend or William, the cab driver that was accused of raping her. What about you?
I think it was the cab driver because he had the most to lose.
Mm-hmm.
He was going to get sent away and he was not going to want that.
Mm-mm.
So I don't believe in coincidences. She was going to testify. He didn't want to go to jail. So I think he created this opportunity for himself to try and avoid that. And I mean, I don't really see anybody else.
Me either. Like you said, he had the most to lose. And I'm stuck on the good rape. Like, that's vicious to carve in her back. And she was so beautiful. Like, you guys saw her pictures through the episode, and I'll post it on like my stories and also like our social media. Her smile, beautiful smile. And her son was just so young when he lost his mother. But this is the episode that my wife and I agree on something. Clap for us. We do think it was Williams. I wish the cops was just having time in their life. They didn't care really. But the new detectives that's on her case, I hope if they really look into what happened to her and look into that cab driver, because it had to be some type of DNA that was left on her body. Something had to be left. But these cops was just having time in their life. They didn't really care. Let's just be honest. But guys, that is our episode. And tell me, who do you think unalived this woman? I would love to hear your comments. Also, like I say in every episode, like, comment, and subscribe, and give us a 5-star rating. Next week episode, I'm very excited about. So guys, please be on the lookout for that episode. This one is personal to me. I cannot wait for you guys to listen to it. And if you have a case suggestions, please send it to us and we will happily do it for you. This is Lesbian Detectives. Don't forget, everybody's suspect
till proven innocent.
Bye. Have a good day.
Lesbian Detectives. Unsolved cases. She's still missing. Yeah, they haven't found her yet. Well, let's talk about it.
They say he vanished without a trace. Could it be a psychotic break or a tragic accident? Police don't know where the body went. Unsolved murders, body still missing. That's unheard. Where's the witness? Lesbian detectives, what's going on? City on high alert, this out the norm. He did what, the who? Man, that ain't real, these crimes ain't true. Then come uncover these theories with us. We live right now, tuning in is a must.
Right now. Lesbian Detectives. Lesbian Detectives. We about to start the show, so get your popcorn ready to go. Pay attention to the message I present to you, Lesbian Detectives.